What if I told you that one of the most lighthearted sitcoms in TV history hides some of the wildest behind-the-scenes secrets you've never heard? Gilligan's Island may look like a silly castaway comedy, but the truth is packed with shocking details, from theme song scandals and Hollywood parking lot lagoons to bitter cast rivalries and secrets that were never meant to get out. So grab your coconut radio and hold on tight, because here are 10 insane facts about Gilligan's Island that'll blow your mind. 10. The theme song almost left out key castaways. One of the most insane facts about Gilligan's Island is hidden in its theme song. Everyone knows the catchy tune that introduces the stranded crew, but what many people don't realize is that two characters were almost erased from TV history because of it. In the very first season, the lyrics only mentioned Gilligan, the skipper, the millionaire, and his wife, along with Ginger. The professor and Mary Ann were casually dismissed as the rest. That small phrase caused a huge problem. Fans loved the quirky professor and the sweet farm girl, yet they were treated like background extras instead of part of the main crew. This snub didn't sit well with the actors either. Russell Johnson, the professor, and Dawn Wells, Mary Ann, felt overlooked and undervalued, especially since they had significant roles in nearly every episode. Audiences noticed too, and CBS began receiving complaints from viewers who thought it was unfair. With enough pressure mounting, producers were forced to make a change. By the second season, the theme song was re-recorded, this time proudly naming the Professor and Mary Ann. Is quiet and explained. That decision not only fixed the problem, but also cemented both characters as fan favorites. It's crazy to think how close they came to being sidelined forever. Imagine watching decades of reruns where two of the most loved castaways were never even acknowledged in the opening theme. If producers hadn't listened to the backlash, Gilligan's Island wouldn't be remembered the same way today. 9. The lagoon was just a Hollywood parking lot. Another insane fact about Gilligan's Island is that its most iconic setting, the tropical lagoon, was nothing more than a man-made illusion sitting in the middle of Los Angeles. Instead of flying the cast and crew to an exotic location, CBS executives decided to save money by building the island right in Studio City, California, in the backlot of the studio. They filled a huge pit with thousands of gallons of water, trucked in sand, and lined it with palm trees to give the impression of a remote paradise. On screen, it looked like a postcard-perfect island, but in reality, the conditions were far from glamorous. The water quickly turned dirty and murky under the hot California Sunday. Actors complained about wading into the lagoon because it wasn't exactly sanitary. On windy days, sharp-eyed crew members had to scramble to hide background details like traffic signs and buildings that peeked through the fake island set. Airplanes constantly flew overhead, ruining takes and forcing reshoots. Despite all these challenges, the illusion worked brilliantly for viewers at home. Audiences believed the castaways were stranded on a faraway island, never realizing they were actually just steps away from a busy freeway. The lagoon itself eventually became a Hollywood landmark, but after the series ended, it was drained and later turned into a parking structure. The fact that one of TV's most famous deserted islands was really a studio parking lot shows just how much Hollywood magic went into fooling audiences. 8. Gilligan's real first name was Willie. One of the strangest facts about Gilligan's Island is that Gilligan actually had a first name, though you never once heard it on the show. According to series creator Sherwood Schwartz, Gilligan's real name was Willie Gilligan. Yes, you read that right. The goofy, clumsy character who constantly messed up rescue attempts was actually supposed to be Willie. But here's the twist. Schwartz later admitted that he always thought of him as just Gilligan, and the name Willie never made it into the scripts. The writers avoided using it, and the cast never addressed it, so fans only found out years after the show ended. This fun fact started endless debates among viewers. Some even argued that Gilligan was his first name, and Willie could have been his last. Others joked that it didn't matter what his name was, since the skipper only ever shouted Gilligan whenever something went wrong. The name mystery added to his identity as the ultimate bumbling sidekick, someone whose full story was never completely told. What makes this even more insane is that Sherwood Schwartz considered giving each character a backstory that would explain how they ended up on the infamous 3-hour tour. But CBS felt that audiences didn't need too much detail. It was supposed to be comedy, not a drama. That decision left Gilligan's Willie name hidden in the shadows. It's one of those small details that changes how you see him, and it proves that even sitcom characters can have secrets you never hear on screen. 7. The skipper was a real-life hero. Alan Hale Jr., the actor who played the lovable but tough skipper, wasn't just a larger-than-life character on screen, he was a real hero, off-screen too. Hale was known for his cheerful personality, but in real life, he had moments of incredible bravery that matched the skipper's leadership on the island. During the show's run, Hale once rescued a woman from drowning, pulling her out of dangerous waters without hesitation. In another incident, he reportedly rushed into a burning building to help save 2 men from a fire. These real-life stories made fans appreciate him even more. Unlike many actors who left their roles behind at the studio, Hale lived in a way that reflected the character he played. He was protective, dependable, and willing to put himself at risk to help others, just like the skipper watching over his crew of castaways. What's even more insane is how much Hale sacrificed to commit to the show. At one point, he even broke his arm while filming another project, but still showed up on set for Gilligan's Island, hiding the injury so production wouldn't be delayed. That kind of dedication showed how much he cared about keeping the series alive for fans. The skipper may have been written as a comical leader, constantly stressed by Gilligan's blunders, but Alan Hale Jr. brought real strength and authenticity to the role. Knowing he was a hero in real life makes his performance even more powerful, turning the skipper into a character fans respect beyond the screen. 6. The coconut radio-inspired real inventions. One of the funniest running gags on Gilligan's Island was the castaways building crazy inventions out of coconuts, bamboo, and palm leaves. The professors seemed capable of making anything: radios, washing machines, even electricity out of island junk. While it was played for laughs, here's the insane part. Some of those silly gadgets actually inspired real-life ideas. Engineers and tinkerers admitted that the creativity shown on the show sparked their imagination. In fact, several DIY survivalists tried to replicate the coconut radio at home just to see if it was possible. The coconut radio became a pop culture symbol. Fans joked about how the professor could make an entire communication system out of fruit, but somehow couldn't patch a simple hole in the boat. That paradox made the inventions legendary. Beyond the humor, though, the props department really went all out. They created functioning prototypes that sometimes actually worked during filming, though nowhere near as powerful as the show implied. This blending of comedy and pseudoscience gave the series a unique identity. It wasn't just about being stranded, it was about imagining possibilities. Could you really turn nature into technology if you were stuck on an island? The idea fascinated viewers, and over time, the coconut radio became so famous that it was displayed in museums and parodied countless times in other shows. What started as a goofy sitcom prop ended up inspiring real-world creativity, showing just how powerful even the silliest television ideas can be. 5. Tina Louise hated playing Ginger. While many actors from Gilligan's Island embraced their roles, Tina Louise, who played the glamorous movie star Ginger Grant, had a completely different experience. Behind the scenes, she openly disliked the part and felt it damaged her career. Louise believed that being typecast as Ginger made Hollywood producers see her only as a one-dimensional sex symbol, which limited the serious roles she wanted. This created tension because while fans adored Ginger's over-the-top glamour, Louise saw it as a career trap. What's even crazier is that she distanced herself from the show after it ended. When CBS filmed reunion specials and spin-off movies years later, Tina Louise refused to return. Ginger was recast with different actresses, something almost unheard of for such an iconic role. This fueled endless rumors about her rocky relationship with the rest of the cast, though Louise always claimed she simply wanted to move on. Her resistance only made the character more fascinating. While the other actors leaned into their Gilligan's Island fame and enjoyed the cult following, Louise tried to push away from it. Yet no matter what she did, fans continued to see her as Ginger, the glamorous starlet stranded on a tropical island. The irony is that Ginger was supposed to be a parody of Hollywood's larger-than-life movie icons. But for Tina Louise, the joke hit too close to home. Instead of boosting her career, it boxed her in, making this one of the most insane facts about the show's long-lasting shadow. 4. Dawn Wells made Mary Ann a fan favorite. When people talk about Gilligan's Island, the Ginger versus Mary Ann debate always comes up. While Ginger had the flashy gowns and movie star allure, Mary Ann, played by Dawn Wells, became the true fan favorite. What's insane is how much love her character received compared to the others. Viewers connected with Mary Ann's wholesome charm, sweet personality, and down-to-earth nature. She represented the girl next door, and fans saw her as genuine and approachable in a way that other characters weren't. This popularity showed up in countless polls, where Mary Ann regularly outranked Ginger as the most admired female character on the show. Even decades after the series ended, fans consistently chose Mary Ann as the castaway they'd most want to be stranded with. Dawn Wells embraced the role too, unlike Tina Louise. She attended conventions, did interviews, and happily represented the show for years, keeping Mary Ann alive in fans' hearts. Wells even published books where she used her character's perspective to share life advice and island-inspired recipes. This creative extension of Mary Ann's personality deepened her connection with audiences. It wasn't just a role, it became part of who she was. The insane part is that Mary Ann, who was originally added as more of a background farm girl stereotype, ended up stealing the spotlight. Her relatability made her timeless, showing that charm and kindness often outshine glamour and fame. For many fans, Mary Ann wasn't just a character, she was the heart of Gilligan's Island. 3. The cast didn't get rich from the show. Here's one of the most shocking facts about Gilligan's Island. Despite the show's massive success, the cast never got rich from it. At the time, TV contracts didn't include residual payments for reruns or syndication. That meant the actors were only paid during the original 3-season run from 1,964 to 1,967. Once the episodes started airing again and again in reruns, the network made millions, but the cast saw none of it. This is insane when you realize how popular the show became. Gilligan's Island was syndicated around the world, broadcast in over 30 languages, and watched by generations of fans. Yet the actors who made it iconic were left behind financially. Bob Denver, Gilligan, Alan Hale Jr., the skipper, and the rest of the cast became household names, but weren't compensated for the show's ongoing success. The unfair system caused frustration, especially as fans assumed the cast must have been wealthy because of the reruns. Dawn Wells often spoke about how shocking it was to people when they learned she earned very little from the show that defined her career. The situation became a cautionary tale in Hollywood and helped pave the way for better contracts in later decades. This reality makes the story of Gilligan's Island even crazier. A sitcom that looked like simple comedy turned into a billion-dollar empire for studios, while its stars who gave the show life had to move on without seeing the rewards. It's a behind-the-scenes fact that completely changes how you view the show's legacy, too. Gilligan's Island was almost a political satire. It's hard to imagine Gilligan's Island as anything other than a goofy sitcom, but here's an insane fact. The original idea was much more serious and satirical. Creator Sherwood Schwartz pitched the show as a social experiment, 7 people from totally different walks of life forced to live together and survive on a deserted island. Each castaway represented a slice of American society. The millionaire couple symbolized wealth and privilege. Ginger stood for Hollywood glamour. Mary Ann represented small-town values. The professor reflected intelligence and science, while Gilligan and the skipper were the everyday working-class men. This setup was meant to be a commentary on class differences, human behavior, and the struggle of cooperation. It sounds more like a social drama than a sitcom. CBS executives, however, wanted something lighthearted that would appeal to families. So, the satire was stripped down, the comedy was dialed up, and the result was the fun, slapstick show everyone remembers today. Still, if you look closely, traces of that original concept remain. The constant power struggles, clashing personalities, and attempts at leadership all mirror real-world dynamics. Gilligan's constant blunders could even be read as a statement about human imperfection disrupting unity. While fans laughed at coconut inventions and rescue failures, Schwartz believed the show quietly reflected deeper truths about society. The insane twist is that a series once imagined as a political allegory became one of the most lighthearted sitcoms ever made. Hidden beneath the laughs was a much bigger idea about what it means to work together. 1. A rescue ending was planned but never happened. One of the most unbelievable facts about Gilligan's Island is that the castaways were never supposed to stay stranded forever. Sherwood Schwartz had plans for an eventual rescue storyline, one that would give closure to fans who invested years into the characters' survival. But before that episode could be written, the show was suddenly canceled in 1967. What's even crazier is that CBS didn't cancel it because of ratings, it was still doing well. Instead, the network wanted to make room for Gunsmoke, a long-running Western that the network felt was more important. This abrupt decision left fans hanging. For years, audiences kept asking, would Gilligan and the others ever get rescued? The frustration only grew as reruns played endlessly, reminding viewers that the castaways' fate was left unresolved. It wasn't until more than a decade later that reunion movies were made, finally showing the group being rescued only to get stranded again in later specials. While these TV movies gave fans some closure, they didn't carry the same weight as an official finale would have during the original run. This fact highlights just how unpredictable television was in the 1,960 seconds. A show could be canceled overnight with no warning, leaving stories unfinished forever. In Gilligan's Island, the rescue ending that fans wanted never arrived on schedule. Instead, the sitcom went down in history as the show where no one ever left the island, cementing its place as one of the most iconic, unfinished stories in TV history. So there you have it, 10 insane facts that prove Gilligan's Island was far crazier behind the scenes than anyone imagined. From forgotten castaways in the theme song to a rescue ending that never happened, this show's secrets are just as wild as the story itself. But here's the real question. If a lighthearted sitcom like this hides so many shocking truths, what other classics might be holding secrets we've never heard? Hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next dive into the unbelievable stories that shaped TV history.